안녕하세요 여러분, 책 읽어주는 누나예요. 제가 지금 있는 곳은 파머스 마켓이라는 곳입니다. 말 그대로 farmers market, 농부의 마켓이라는 곳인데요. 정말로 농부들이 농사지은 그런 농작물 같은 것들이 있기도 하고, 뭐 요즘은 많이 모던해져서 음식점도 있고 그런 옷가게 쇼핑몰 같은 데도 있지만, 그래도 여전히 그런 것들을 볼 수 있는 곳입니다. 지금은 이제 할로윈 시즌이고 또 땡스기빙 데이, 일명 우리나라의 추석 같은 날이 가까워져서 호박들이 굉장히 많이 팔고 있어요. 여기 보면 굉장한 다양한 모습의 호박들이 보이죠. 하얀 호박에 약간 우들투들한 호박도 있고, 저런 조그만 주황색 호박에 큰 주황색 호박도 있고, 저기 초록색에 약간 연한 탁한 주황색 도는 것도 있고, 저기 초록색 살짝 섞인 것도 있고, 진짜 다양한 호박이 많은데요. 그래서 여러분들에게 오늘 읽어드릴 책도 호박에 관련된 것입니다. 짜잔! The Pumpkin Book. 말 그대로 진짜 펌크킨에 대한 모든 것들이 다 있는 책인데요. 그래서 조금 과학적이거나 역사적인 면도 나오고 글도 조금 많지만, 그래도 여러분들에게 최선을 다해서 읽어드리도록 할게요. 조금 조용한 곳으로 책을 읽어드리기 위해 왔습니다. The Pumpkin Book, 책을 읽어보도록 할게요. The Pumpkin Book. Pumpkins come in all shapes and sizes. Pumpkins are members of the squash family. There are many different kinds of pumpkins. Small pumpkins, big pumpkins, round pumpkins, tall pumpkins. squash는 그 수세미 같은 걸인 걸로 알고 있어요. Gardeners and farmers call them pumpkin varieties. Some pumpkins have a smooth skin and others have lots of bumps. 이거는 그 펌프킨 종 이름인데요. Those Atlantic Giant, 엄청 크죠? Jack B. Little, 조그맣고. Baby Bear, Connecticut Field, Connecticut은 그 약간 그 지역 이름이고요. Lumina, Red October, Big Max, Small Sugar Pie, Trick or Treat. In the springtime, when the sun's rays begin to warm the soil, it's planting time. Some gardeners turn the soil to get it ready to plant a small pumpkin patch. A pumpkin patch is where pumpkins grow. Pumpkin patch는 호박밭이나 마찬가지인 거죠. Some farmers use their plows to slice through and turn over the dirt. The field will eventually be a huge pumpkin field. The soil is ready. It's time to plant the pumpkin seeds. The beginning of the pumpkin is curled up inside each pumpkin seed. Food is stored there too. The seed has a seed coat outside to protect it. The bigger the seed, the bigger the variety of pumpkin that will grow. Sometimes pumpkin seeds are planted in rows. Other times they are planted in small circular areas called hills. Several shallow holes are poked into hills, and one pumpkin seed is dropped into each hole and covered with dirt. Each hill should be about 3 feet, 1 meter to 6 feet, 2 meters apart to give plants a lot of room to grow. A pumpkin seed won't sprout until the dirt is warm and water has soaked the seed to soften its coat. Once the seed coat breaks open, a root begins to grow down into soil. It takes in water and minerals from the soil for food. After about 1 week, 2 leaves appear where each pumpkin seed was planted. These smooth leaves are called seed leaves. They begin to make more food for the plant from the sunlight and air. After a few days, small pumpkin vine leaves appear. These leaves look different. They are prickly and have rough, jagged edges. More vine leaves grow. Stems begin to grow and twist, crawling along the ground as they become vines. The vines grow thicker and thicker. They grow curly tendrils that wrap themselves around other parts of the plant to help spread the vines. Gold-colored flowers begin to bloom. A pumpkin begins to grow when a grain of pollen from the stamen of a male pumpkin flower lands on the stigma of a female pumpkin flower. Male pumpkin flower와 female pumpkin flower는 그 호박의 그 암꽃과 쑥꽃을 의미하는 것이고요. 그 스티그마는 암술인가 해요. This is called pollination. Sometimes pollen moves from flower to flower when the wind blows. Bees and other insects help pollinate too. Pollen rubs on and off their bodies as they travel from flower to flower in search of nectar. The female flower has a small green ball beneath its blossom. When the flower is pollinated, the little ball begins to grow. It's a very, very small pumpkin. Over time, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. The pumpkin skin begins to turn from green to orange. All of the pumpkins in pumpkin patch begin to turn orange. 보면 한국의 호박과 달리 미국의 호박은 이렇게 둥글고 약간 크고 그리고 완벽한 주황색이에요. 한국의 호박은 반면 조금 약간 납작하고 초록색인 경우, 약간 초록색이 도는 경우가 많죠. In the fall, when the vines begin to dry up and die, it's harvest time. It usually takes from 80 to 120 days, depending on the variety, for a seed to grow into a ripened pumpkin. It is ready to pick when it feels hard on the outside and sounds hollow when it's tapped. 여기 브라우니 같이 털색이 생긴 멍멍이가 한 마리 있죠. Often shears are used to clip the pumpkins from their vines, leaving about 3 inches, 7.5 centimeter of stem. The stem helps to keep the harvest pumpkin from getting moldy. During the fall, more and more pumpkins of many shapes and sizes appear at roadside stands and stores. Fall makes people think about country fairs. Sometimes awards are giving the biggest, the prettiest, or the strangest pumpkin grown. The biggest pumpkin ever grown in New York State is 1,996. It weighed about as much as a small car, 1,061 pounds. 481 kilograms. At fairs, there are pumpkin pie tasting contests too. 와, 481kg이라니. 이게 작은 차 하나에 정도의 그 무게래요. 진짜 대단하지 않아요? 어떻게 호박이 그렇게 커질 수가 있는지 진짜 신기했어요. When the pilgrims come to New World, friendly Native American Indians show them how to plant pumpkins. Often, Indian women were the pumpkin farmers of their tribes. The pilgrims ate pumpkins every day in different forms, such as pumpkin bread, pumpkin pie, and pumpkin seed cereal. Thanksgiving reminds people of the pilgrims' first harvest season. They wanted to give thanks for the food that they would have through the cold winter months. They celebrated having a Thanksgiving feast. Thanksgiving Day, 그러니까 미국의 추석 같은 거에 유래해요. 그렇게 그 겨울을 나기 위한 식량을 주는 거를 감사하며 여는 그런 feast. Halloween is on October 31. A long time ago, people believed that ghosts, witches, and goblins roamed around at night. Some people built bonfires to scare them away. Later, October 31st was called All Hallows Even, which means a holy evening. It was the night before church festival called All Hallows or All Saints' Day. All Hallows Even was shortened to Halloween. Today, Halloween is celebrated in different ways. 할로윈의 유래인 페이지고요. How to carve a pumpkin. You always have an adult help you. Take a knife that's not too sharp or special cutter used for carving pumpkin and cut the lid of the pumpkin. Take a big spoon and scoop out the seeds and inside of the pumpkin. You can just save the seeds to dry and eat later or plant for next year's pumpkins. 이 속은 우리나라에서 호박죽으로 많이 쓰죠. Draw a design you want using a pencil or washable magic marker. Cut along the lines you drew. Be careful and always carve away from yourself. Wipe away the magic marker lines and put the lid back on your pumpkin. It's ready for Halloween. There are pumpkins. It's great fun to carve pumpkins into what you want it to be. Funny pumpkins, scary pumpkins, beautifully carved pumpkins. Some people place a candle or a light inside a light so the pumpkin will shine all its glory on Halloween night. Always have an adult place and light the candle. Other people decorate pumpkins with paint, glitter, and other decorations. These pumpkins can last a long time because they hadn't been carved. 이게 제 생각에는 저희 동네에 이게 재고랜턴들이 아직 안 나온 이유인 것 같아요. 이렇게 약간 깎으면 빨리 썩는다고 나와 있으니까 그래서 아마 할로윈 며칠 전에 깎는 것 같아요. No two pumpkins are alike. They have their very own personalities. All lined up on Halloween night, there are glowing sights to behold. Isn't it amazing that all this began with a few small pumpkin seeds? Glow pumpkins, glow. Pumpkins. Pumpkins probably originated in North America. Pumpkin seeds that are 9,000 years old have been found in caves of Mexico. Native American Indians often planted pumpkins with corn and beans. The Iroquois Indians believed corn, beans, and pumpkin are a gift from their sun gods. These three crops are called the Three Sisters. 이거를 제가 거기 학교 Social Studies에서 배웠어요. The Pueblo Indians of the Southwest often design pumpkin blossoms into their silver jewelry. The word pumpkin comes from the French word pompion, which means ripened by the sun. Sometimes the pilgrim dried pumpkin shells to use as bounce. Sometimes carved pumpkins are called jack-o'-lanterns. The word jack-o'-lantern comes an old fable about the mean and stingy man named Jack. When he died, it was rumored that he was forced to roam around the world carrying a turnip with a hot glowing coal inside. People call him Jack of the Lantern or Jack-o'-lantern. 이거는 제가 알고 있는 스토리하고는 조금 다른데요. 제가 아는 스토리는 그게 오리진이 다양한 것 같기도 하지만 제가 알고 있는 스토리는 장난을 치기 좋아했던 잭이라는 사람이 어느 날 악마한테 장난을 쳤나 해가지고 나중에 이 사람이 죽었을 때 장난을 많이 쳐서 지옥에 가야 되는 나쁜 일을 많이 해서 지옥에 가야 되는데 악마가 받아주지 않았고 또 천국에도 갈 수가 없어가지고 또 그 호박을 판 다음에 그 안에 그거 촛불을 넣어가지고 평생 이승을 떠들게 됐다 뭐 그런 이야기를 저는 들었었어요. Pumpkins are full of vitamin A, which can help give one strong teeth, good vision, and smooth skin. Few pumpkin flowers actually do become pumpkins. This is because the female blossom opens for pollination for only one day in the entire life. Everyone loves pumpkin pie, especially around Thanksgiving. Some people like to eat dried pumpkin seed too. How to dry your pumpkin seeds. Separate the seeds from the pumpkin pulp and rinse under cold water. Spread the seeds and then layer on a screen, cookie sheet, or big air dry, preferably in direct sunlight for several days. Once the seeds are completely dry, put them in the jar with tight lid for storage. You can eat them or plant them next year to grow more pumpkins. 끝. 자, 드디어 이 긴 펌프킨 호박 백과사전이 끝났습니다. 이 책이 꽤나 길고 역사적 설명에 과학적 설명도 좀 많았지만 끝까지 봐주신 여러분들 감사하고요. 지금 한국이 많이 추워졌다고 들은데 그래도 뭐 재밌는 할로윈 보내시길 바랍니다. 안녕. 지금까지 책 읽어주는 누나였습니다. 다음엔 주디 무디 할게요.